This year's theme is essential, and we sure are, because we keep the motoring public moving across North America.
Well, what makes our industry essential is what we've all certainly learned this year is how critical we are, really the critical infrastructure to our country. It's how things are done is with transportation. It's how first responders get to the emergency. It's how ordinary citizens not only get to their doctor's appointments, but are able to do their necessary day-to-day grocery shopping, etc. Everything really falls apart without functioning transportation, and that is why we are an essential industry.
I think there are a lot of intangibles that really make somebody essential, like your ability to lead in hard situations, being somebody that your company really trusts and people in your company really trust, or somebody who really embraces change and finds opportunity in it. When everybody around you is panicked, you're really a signal or a sign of strength.
I think one of the biggest lessons we'll all learn from 2020 is that real people and physical, tangible things do matter. I think we've gotten so caught up in the digital or virtual world that we've all had to relearn that things like food and medicine and supplies and machines, they're real things, not just pictures on a screen. And that guess what? Face-to-face contact and get-togethers, they matter.
The great takeaway for this year, 2020, is our value of partnerships with our channel partners, our customers, our employees, and our industry friends. No matter how bad it gets, as long as we work hard, we be nice, we can still overcome.
This year has put a spotlight on what makes a person essential. When things don't go according to plan and we're easily distracted by challenges, the person who has the desire to step up and help other people is the one who proves to be essential.
The biggest lesson we have learned this year is how resilient we are.
I think the qualities that make a person essential are their drive, their compassion, and their ability to add value and keep things moving.
Finally, I would say hardships that we've seen this year have been immense. But it's those same hardships that if we allow them, that will remind us of our humanity. And in doing so, our need for each other.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host tonight, Dave Shapiro, your friendly neighborhood rep. We have finally arrived at 2020's AWDA show, and you might notice it's a little bit different this year. Yes, the host is far better looking than normal, but that's not all. We will be conducting tonight's panel and awards via brand new technology that no one has used before called Zoom. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Ever heard of it? Yeah, me neither. Probably just another failing Silicon Valley startup. It's not often I have the stage to myself, so before I do something crazy like call Larry up on screen to join me, I would like to make a shameless pitch on behalf of this week's title sponsor, the Manufacturers Rep Council. When the government deemed us all essential, I was like, duh. But I thought about it more throughout the day and spoke with some of my customers who pointed out how valuable local reps have been this year particularly. Many factories have had to ban travel for their direct employees, and any good rep saw this as an opportunity to innovate and dial up our customer communication and engagement. We are extremely proud to be the 2020 AWDA show title sponsors. Thank you. We have a lot to get to tonight, but before we jump into the panel, I'd like to welcome AWDA's Executive Director, Larry Northup, up to say a few words. Larry?
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, this is a little bit weird, I gotta say, not being behind the podium. And I never thought I'd say this, but I actually miss being in Vegas because I miss all of you people who are out there in Cyberland right now. Don't really miss that much about Las Vegas, quite honestly, but I certainly miss the people. And these little Hollywood squares, while they're convenient, is really not ideal for networking. But we're going to do what we can because the fact is, most of you probably wouldn't be in Vegas anyway because you're still in the trenches fighting the good fight. I'm just the rear echelon guy. I'm behind the lines, hoping that you keep the tanks from running me over. So far, you've done a good job of that. But as the rear echelon guy, I do have some advantages. One being that I can get a sort of a bird's eye view of the whole marketplace, the whole battlefield, if you will, for this past year. And I've seen a lot of encouraging signs from our membership. Number one, I saw a massive amount of strength and dedication. And most of you know I've got a lot of respect, a ton of respect for our members and the businesses you run. But really, this past 8 months, you've been truly inspirational to me and many others. I've watched you all balance multiple challenges. You've adapted on the fly to rapidly changing circumstances, and you've never lost faith in the ultimate outcome, meaning the success of your business and the success of our industry. Second, and actually Eric Sills mentioned this a couple of weeks ago at an Apex panel, we've all come to learn who the strong companies and strong people are through this challenge. And that's a good thing because the strong ones will survive and live to fight another day. And I count all of you among that crowd. Finally, and most importantly, you and your companies have reinforced my already rock solid belief in individual initiative, creativity, and energy. You simply said, tell us what we need to do, give us the tools to do it, and get out of the way. We will do the right thing. And you've done that as an industry and as individuals and as companies. So to me, the enduring lesson of this past year has been that free markets, free people, and freedom of action will always lead to the positive outcomes in our economy and indeed in our world. And for that, you are to be congratulated. Now I would like to turn the podium, as it were, over to my good friend, my partner for the last 2 years, and your great chairman, Mr. Mauro Cifelli of Vast Auto Distribution. Mauro.
Thank you so much, Larry. It's really nice to see everyone finally. I'm very confident that our virtual AWDA gatherings and one-on-one meetings will prove to be a very valuable experience for everyone. As I look back on my time as chair of AWDA, I'm struck by the resiliency of our community. In the past few months, we displayed our resiliency through the challenges of COVID-19. The value of our community through our association is clear. AWDA demonstrated that over and over again in 2020. Here are some of our achievements. We continue to strengthen our partnership with the Auto Care Association through collaboration and communication. I work closely with past Chairman Bobby Siegel, President Hamby, and the Auto Care Board to ensure we had representation on the Auto Care Association's board. That allowing us to fully engage and contribute to the highest level of the association. Currently, Governor Larry Pavey and Corey Bartlett serve as directors. Some fresh news off the press, the uniting of two of the Auto Care Association's communities, AWDA and HDDA. We recognize that the issues and challenges that bind heavy, medium, and light-duty aftermarket distributors far outweigh our differences. In bringing these two communities together, we can take advantage of things like market opportunities and resources, including technology, market intelligence, education, and much, much more. A special call out to AWDA's and HDDA's leadership for their insight, and a special thank you to Cliff Hovis and Larry Northup for making it happen. As you know, the aftermarket industry is engaged in an ongoing struggle to maintain access to data being collected by our customers' vehicles. Election day turned out to be a moment of victory for us in Massachusetts. The months of campaigning to ensure passage of this initiative was very, very expensive. And in strong support for the effort, the AWDA's Board of Governors approved a $500,000 donation to the industry's fight in Massachusetts. We proved we were all in. And now, to provide additional insight on the Massachusetts campaign and the Right to Repair effort, I will turn it over to Auto Care Association's president, Mr. Bill Hamby.
Good evening, everybody. I'm thrilled to be with you, especially on the heels of our victory on election night in Massachusetts, where the voters and, more importantly, the consumers of Massachusetts passed our Right to Repair Act 75%. And that was after being outspent by the car makers $30 million to $19 million. And AWDA was a critical part of our success, not only from a financial standpoint, but certainly from a grassroots standpoint. You got engaged, you called on shops, you talked to your customers, you promoted Right to Repair wherever and whenever you could. And now we're going to take it federally, and we're going to need your help just as much in order to get that done. But the message is this, is that advocacy is never done. And AWDA has always been in lockstep with the Auto Care Association in terms of advocating for our industry and looking forward to ensure that we have the right and privilege as consumers and as an industry to access data. And for that, I want to thank all of you for your efforts. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your engagement. Our work's not done, but let's keep it going, and thank you.
AWDA remains at the forefront of our aftermarket community. The proof is in our engagement in Massachusetts, support for the Your Car, Your Data campaign, our successful conversion to a virtual conference, our move to integrate all aftermarket distributors into one powerhouse organization, and our ongoing involvement in the Auto Care Association at all levels. We cannot forget that our strengths as independent warehouse distributors are our entrepreneurship, we're agile, and we tend to focus on execution and results. But what truly makes us different is the value we put on building and nourishing strong business relationships. The opportunity to lead the AWDA board alongside some of the greatest individuals in the automotive aftermarket these past 2 years has been both rewarding and deeply humbling. And now it's time for me to pass on the gavel to incoming chair, Ryan Samuels. Our community is indeed resilient. Under Ryan's leadership and with the continued engagement of AWDA, it will remain so. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for allowing me to serve. Enjoy the rest of your session. And now I'd like to turn it over to Ryan Samuels, your incoming chair of AWDA. Thank you.
Maura, thank you so much for your incredible leadership the last 2 years. It was a privilege to work with you, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you including me, and so much of it went on with the leadership of AWDA. Those experiences were invaluable, and I hope I can continue to carry on the excellence that you brought to the position. This would normally be the time when the incoming chair would talk about their plans for the future. I wish this was something I could do with more certainty, but with so much we don't know about the present, it's difficult to look too far ahead. What I do have is a sense of comfort that there is a bright future ahead for our industry. Mauro spoke about the resiliency of our community, and it is this community that makes me optimistic about the days to come. Even through these difficult months, AWDA and the Auto Care Association were able to accomplish great things. As we all know, in the early days of the COVID-19 outbreak, the Government Affairs Department quickly mobilized to ensure that we would be deemed the essential industry we all know we are, allowing us to remain open and keep our communities moving. As we heard from Bill Hanby, as a team, we were able to pass the updated Right to Repair ballot measure in Massachusetts, ensuring we have access to vehicle data going forward. The next time we meet, we'll be joined by our new members in the heavy-duty market, and I'm excited to begin this great partnership. AWDA was able to pivot on a dime when the pandemic took away our ability to meet in person and put together an amazing virtual experience that I hope most of you will be participating in over the next few days. Most importantly, and probably the least tangible benefit to being involved in AWDA or the Auto Care Association as a whole, is the relationships you make. When times get difficult, being able to pick up the phone and call one of your peers to maybe ask advice, gain insight, or just vent to somebody who knows exactly what it is you are going through. These relationships are what truly makes AWDA great. What all this proves is that as an association and an industry, we have momentum. My goal for the immediate future is not only to keep that momentum going, but to build on it. The value of being involved in AWDA has never been more clear than it is now. If you've been involved, thank you. If you haven't been involved, consider it. If you're not sure how to get involved, ask. The challenges facing our industry will not stop. But as we have proved time and again, we'll always be up to the task of not just surviving, but thriving in the face of those challenges. I look forward to the opportunity to serve as your chairman, and I will do everything I can to ensure AWDA continues to have your back. Now I'd like to turn it over to our incoming vice chair, Ashley Arnold.
Thank you, Ryan, for the warm introduction. I don't think there's any question that we've had a difficult year this year. From logistics to personnel to all of us wearing masks everywhere we go, none of us would have imagined that 2020 would turn out the way that it did. But to echo Mauro and Ryan, the one thing that it has shown us is the resiliency of our industry and everyone involved in it. It's been incredible to see the transition in business in such a short period of time. But we've been agile, we've been nimble, and we've adapted. Sometimes in workplaces had orders that were changing daily. It's also been amazing to see colleagues come together from across the country to help one another, to figure out how to get it done in a world that we have no idea how to function in anymore. But if there's one thing about this group, everyone's always up for helping one another. In times like this, as Mauro mentioned, and as Ryan also echoed, participation and the association are more important than ever. Everything that we've accomplished this year is truly remarkable in times where we were having a hard enough time adapting our own businesses as well. I think one of the other moving things from the last 8 months has been the people showing up day in and day out at our facilities to get the job done in a world that they're terrified in. Our industry is a family and it's one that runs deep. We've all made a lot of adjustments this year and those will continue. But the one thing that won't ever change is our dedication to this industry, to our colleagues in this room, and to our teams. People are starting to get back out on the road and we will be there to serve them. Finally, Mauro, I want to say it's been truly an honor to work with you the last 2 years. I have no idea how you've managed through all of this being thrown at you between COVID, between association migrations, between everything, but you've done it with such dignity, such grace, and such courage. We were truly lucky to have you at the helm, and it's an experience that I will never forget. Thank you for giving your time to AWDA. Thank you for teaching us, and we wish you all the best. Anybody that's going to come after you is going to have some really big shoes to fill.
Well said, Ashley, and well said to the rest of you on your opening remarks. I want to bring you all in now to have a little bit of a panel discussion about a lot of the topics that you brought up during your opening remarks. You know, as this year has progressed, all of us, and some more than others, have had to adapt our businesses to meet the new needs of our customers and our employees and rise above the challenges that come along with that. From an association perspective, Mauro, tell us how AWDA has answered the bell and overcome the barrage of difficulties presented in 2020. What sort of changes did you need to make to better serve your members? And are these solutions temporary, or will this become AWDA's modus operandi?
Well, in my opinion, Dave, the crisis presented a huge opportunity for AWDA. While you know, the pandemic and the restrictions that came with it forced many associations to rethink the way they engage with their members, it also presented a huge opportunity for associations to truly step up and demonstrate the value to the stakeholders. The context during COVID did change, but the association's focus did not, and our focus continues to be to deliver value to our members. You know, typically AWDA members do rank networking as high on the list of values that they receive from the association. We have this unique ability to bring people together, whether it's through events or education or lobbying get-togethers. With the current challenge, trying to find new ways to keep the stakeholders engaged, obviously created some additional challenges for us. So what we wanted to be is to serve as some sort of an information hub for all of our members. And the way we accomplished that was by hosting weekly meetings or huddles with our board and governors. And basically we shared best practices, both personal and company experiences, and how we individually responded to the pandemic. And basically that allowed governors to take these lessons back to their own organizations. As you mentioned in the opening, the session is obviously different. We typically come together during Industry Week in Vegas to host this general session. So we did have to find new innovative ways and platforms for us to deliver not only on this general session, but on two important sessions that the AWDA brings together, one being our one-on-one meetings, and number two is the recognition of the recipients of our exclusive and notable awards. So some challenges, but some really good opportunities for us.
Yeah, Mauro, I was lucky enough earlier this spring to get to attend some of those weekly AWDA calls, and I can't tell you how it really kind of kept me in the loop, and I was able to keep my pulse on everything that was going on during a time that we were very disconnected as an industry. So yeah, I can certainly attest to that. Ryan, Mauro mentioned a bunch of the initiatives that have taken place. As incoming chair, do you see this continuing, and are there more innovations to come?
Well, I certainly see it continuing. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball at all, and to know when, hey, or when's the next time we're going to be able to get together in person. I don't think any of us really know that. So I think, continuing on providing that value any way we possibly can to our membership is going to be paramount. And also I think some other stuff that came out of this that is of great benefit to our members is that we saw across communities within auto care, people working together, where a lot of times, we all operate in a vacuum within our own communities. There was a lot of cross collaboration between communities, and not only just within auto care, with some of our sister associations as well, whether it was, how to combat, COVID, or whether it was, fighting the automakers in our ballot initiative in Massachusetts. There was so much collaboration and teamwork that was done during this time. I think, building on that is going to be paramount to all of our future success. So, I definitely see a lot of what went on here. Hopefully some of it can happen in person. But if it can't, continuing on using, platforms such as we're using now, for sure.
Okay. Ashley, I was lucky enough to get to serve on the Yang Council with you, so I know what you bring to the table. Tell us a little bit about some of the changes you might see in the future for AWDA, and what you and Ryan are going to do as the dynamic duo chairing AWDA.
I mean, I think that the opportunities are endless. As Mauro and Ryan already hit on, people are starting to look outside their communities to find different synergies. I joked about 4 years ago, I served on the Market Intelligence Committee, and they kept asking questions about what are your service, like, what are your installer customers want? What do your guys on the street want? And I said, they're right down the hall in CCPN, go ask them, and you've really seen a transition of that over the last year, especially. I mean, you look at the collaboration between AutoCare and AASA, MEMA, that was huge, something we've never been able to accomplish before. So I would like to continue looking at where those synergies make sense, because we're all better together. We're all better when we collaborate. We're all better when we listen to each other's ideas. Back to relationships, that's been one of the things that's been paramount during these times, is being able to ask somebody, how are you doing on order fill? What are you seeing in your market space? Or, just bounce ideas off of them, because we've got a lot of brilliant people around those tables. And a lot of them have good ideas if we just listen. So I think on a go forward basis, it's really imperative to make sure that we stay open-minded about what could be instead of what always has been, as Mauro has very clearly demonstrated this year.
Thank you, Ashley. And to wind up this question, Larry, you're the one who has to herd all these cats. Is the direction the AWDA going in the right direction? Have the innovations helped quell a lot of the issues that we faced this year? And are these initiatives here to stay?
Yeah, I've always looked at AWDA as kind of a conduit between the membership, the people who are watching this presentation tonight, and the association staff. And the association staff, they're the ones who get it done, whether it's the government affairs team who really stepped it up this year, the communications team that really stepped it up this year, the events team that completely changed their direction. They're the ones who get it done. But they need the input from our members. And that's what AWDA and the other communities, quite frankly, provide. I'm very proud of AWDA. I think we do it as well or better than anyone in terms of that information. Mauro and you, Dave, and some of the other folks have mentioned the board meetings that took place regularly every week during the sort of the teeth of the COVID pandemic earlier in the spring. And at its core, that was a communications venue. That was getting information between members and also from our association. We had presentations from some of our staff. I remember Tom Tucker talked, some government affairs issues, and to funnel it down to the rank and file. Most people know all of the program group heads sit on our board. Soon to be added to that, the two heavy duty program group heads from VIPAR and HDA Truck Pride. But that's the venue to get the information down. It also is the information to get the venue to get information back up from our members. So it really is a conduit. I think that value was proven this year more than perhaps any other year, and that is going to stick for sure. I can't tell you how many times other staff members come to me and say, hey, Larry, you got an AWDA member in this area or in that area. Government affairs staff, communications staff, just a lot of them. So AWDA proved its value, hopefully to members. Keep writing those dues checks, folks, but certainly to the association itself. So that will stick, no question about it.
Larry, I want to come right back to you. You mentioned just briefly right there how the association and all the different communities and councils therein have had to step it up. Well, how has AWDA been instrumental in the Your Car, Your Data campaign and the ballot measure in Massachusetts? We all know now we got a huge victory there. Tell us a little bit about some of the measures that you guys took.
Well, I think Bill mentioned it when he did his little cameo earlier, and he was, the guy, he's seen it. Bill's been, up to his neck in this thing, along with Aaron and the government affairs team and the marketing team, and they've seen the value of the on the ground grassroots actions of our members, and really, the members of AWDA are at the forefront of that. They always have been. I'm confident they always will be, but certainly during this particular battle, they were deeply, deeply involved. And, anything from talking to your customers out there, the shop owners, even the regular customers, the walk-ins, the DIYers, having those conversations to showing up at rallies and hearings, to writing letters to appropriate legislators. AWDA does that. They're the biggest community contributor to the PAC, which is key. And they're just deeply, deeply involved. And of course, big financial commitment this year out of the AWDA reserve funds. Mauro made mention of that, and Bill also. But it's really the grassroots. It's really the people to people, the relationships. Ashley mentioned it. They really make it happen. And I tell you what, you guys deliver just time and time again.
Absolutely. And, I'd be remiss if I didn't head north to our friends in Canada tomorrow. What does this mean for Canada? And are the Automotive Industry Association of Canada's efforts aligned with ours here in the U.S.?
So Dave, just before I answer that question, I'd like a few words about the team we have over at the association. we're very fortunate to have an individual like Larry Northup on our team with AWDA. He tends to talk about the engagement of our members, which is very strong. But he and the team back in the office are the ones that get the job done. So when we refer to all the initiatives that we talked about over the last little bit, those are all being, led and driven by Larry and his team. So we are very, very fortunate to have the quality of individuals like Larry and the members of his team. So working for us. So we're really happy about that. So the right to repair and access to information in Canada. From a Canadian perspective, the win in Massachusetts obviously does have positive impact on the efforts that our efforts here in Canada. We do have a little bit of a different political system here. It was probably a little more obvious to me over the last week, but overall, there's been strong collaboration between the Automotive Industry Association of Canada and the Auto Care Association, basically making sure we're aligned in our approaches. We went as far as joining forces on the Your Car, Your Data initiative here in Canada. So again, making sure we're aligned. But again, the Canadian aftermarket is very dependent on what happens here in the US. All the stakeholders are looking for some form of standardization. So whether it's the OEs or the aftermarket players in North America, we're all obviously looking for some sort of common approach. So if we can't get this done in the US and the OEs do get a stronghold on the information, in controlling the information, well, it's going to be very difficult to get that accomplished in Canada. I'd even say it'll probably be impossible to have a different arrangement or outcome here in Canada. But the opposite would not be true, would not be guaranteed. If the data is controlled by car owners in the US, this agreement would not automatically spill into Canada, as the OEs, their lobbying efforts here in Canada are equally strong. So in short, same goals, same challenges, and very similar approaches.
ACPAC is more important now than what it ever has been before. So if you haven't donated to ACPAC, please do. I'm sure that there's somebody that you can pick up the phone if you need to find somebody. Any of us can help you. But they've done a fantastic job about getting us in front of our elected officials at a local level and giving us a stage to be able to tell our story. Again, it's more important now than ever, as we just saw in Massachusetts. The more you can get involved, the better. It seems scary at first, but once you've done it once, it's a walk in the park. They're just people too with a different job. But tell our story, get involved, and if you need to know how, please just ask.
Well said, Ashley. And Mauro, you don't have to be that nice to Larry just because he's on the call with us, okay? So I think you really hit on a big buzzword there, Mauro, which was collaboration and how critical that is to us winning this fight against, let's face it, another part of our industry that is trying to squash us through all sorts of different tactics, but we don't need to get into the weeds there. What I do want to do is get a little more into the weeds about how this year has affected your direct businesses. More importantly, has the evolution of the distribution sector accelerated or decelerated over the past year? In what ways has that change occurred, and will that trend continue post-COVID? Ashley, can you mind jumping in first on this one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the business as a whole is accelerating. Obviously, all of us have seen ups and downs throughout the year, but I think one of the best things that it's given us is the ability to adapt and be nimble. One of the good things about being in a smaller business, a family-owned business, or otherwise, is we have the ability to make decisions and make changes a lot faster than what some people do. And it's definitely a blessing in disguise, because as we saw the world change, we were able to change. Our customers have changed. So what they need now, whether it's, they want contactless drop off or they want to pick something up outside of our store, we've been able to make those changes pretty rapidly. I will say it's also given us an opportunity to, as Ryan mentioned earlier in his remarks, to clean up some of the things that we knew were wrong, that they weren't, the fire of the day. So we just push them aside to deal with tomorrow, and tomorrow never happened. So it's really given us the opportunity to gain efficiencies and to become better businesses, which hopefully we can carry forward as we move through this and into whatever the next challenge we may be faced with is in the future.
Mauro, would you mind adding on to Ashley's points there?
Yeah, I think that was spot on. I agree with Ashley. Our business, like most businesses, I think in the distribution sector, have accelerated. We didn't have a choice but to accelerate. At the early start of COVID-19, we kind of look back in our past experiences, whether it was with a recession or with an economic downturn, to kind of pull back some of those strategies and apply them to the current situation. But we realized pretty quickly that the situation at hand was very, very unique. A lot of the information we did not control, the shutting down of the economy and at first not being essential and then being categorized as essential. So we had to turn around really, really quickly. But just like Ashley, I think, everyone's focused, was focused on taking the appropriate actions. We had absolutely no playbook. We relied on things like our logic, our values to make decisions quickly, our agility. But there has been, acceleration in the business. Most of us took advantage of the costly lessons to reimagine the business and look for efficiencies and better ways of doing things. And so, we did see a bigger adoption of all things digital. So the crisis did highlight the importance of a digital transformation, whether it was from an e-commerce standpoint, prompting many of us to invest in things like online training, digital sales tools, and other types of online capabilities. So as much as it was a huge challenge for those that took advantage of COVID-19, could extract some good opportunities from it.
Well, as we try to make those changes and change with the accelerated portion of the business, obviously this has presented business challenges that in many cases spills over into our personal life. Ryan, do you have a story or an anecdote you can share about this happening to you and the Samuels distributorship?
Yeah, for sure. I think that, the biggest change from a personal standpoint is I've always had a pretty good ability to, I'm thinking about work 24 hours a day, but most of that's, in my head. I had a pretty good ability to, once I was done, done physically working for the day, while I'd keep thinking about it, I didn't tend to talk about it. I tended, to kind of leave that behind at work, and then, in my personal life, talk about personal things. But it seems like more and more, whether it's my mind going a mile a minute, worrying about, how is the second wave going to be as bad as the first? Are there going to be shutdowns? All that stuff consuming my thoughts. But also, other people seem to be asking me a lot more. Well, how are things going in business? How's work? How's this? Even down to my, to my 8-year-old son. He's got a lot of questions surrounding it. So I've found where I always kind of had that little luxury of, while I'm thinking about it, not having to talk about it when I wasn't there, where I find myself talking about work as a topic of discussion a lot more often, than I used to. So I think it's just, it's dominated my life a little more than it normally would have. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, I'm not really sure. But sometimes it was nice to just have that little break from talking about it.
So Ryan, yes, those lines have certainly been blurred between professional and personal life. I know exactly what you mean, and I know your 8-year-old son is a smart guy. When I found out that although his father is a Jersey Devils fan, your son was smart enough to come and join the Philadelphia Flyers fan base. So bravo to him.
We're working on that. Trust me. We're working on that very hard.
Please do.
I'm going to send him a gritty stuffed animal this Christmas, okay?
He'll love it.
Purify the kid.
Ashley, down in Texas, I know you guys have made some acquisitions during COVID. How have these lines of your personal and professional life kind of blurred this year? Because I know it's happened to everyone.
What line, Dave? I don't know what line you're talking about. Very much like Ryan, I think as leaders in your organization, the line kind of goes away. I mean, you've got a whole lot of people that you're responsible for making sure that they have a livelihood tomorrow, that they can feed their kids and that they can pay their mortgage and their rent and things like that. And it's a huge responsibility, and one that I don't think anyone on this call takes very lightly. So definitely there hasn't been a line. Some of your outlets are gone. I volunteer a lot, and all of a sudden overnight that was gone because I can't go there anymore because everything's shut down. So it definitely leaves a void. I think as a leader in the organization, one of the hardest things to do is the frustrations that your employees have. Their lives have been severely impacted too. They can't go out to eat anymore. They can't go see their friends anymore. They can't go do things to check out of work in the evenings like they used to. And it definitely causes frustration. So figuring out how to keep positive and lift their spirits while at the same time doing your job and taking care of things that are a problem behind the scenes has been a challenge, but also a great opportunity to learn. I will say that I lean very heavily on my industry friends during this time. It's been interesting because since we're all kind of in the same boat, we talk all the time, whether it's to vent or to ask questions or whatever, sometimes just to send funny text messages to lift somebody's spirits during the day. It's been incredible to have that camaraderie. And, that's another huge thing that AWDA brings to the table. So definitely that has helped in my personal life on a day in and day out basis.
Hey, Dave, if I can just quickly comment, I mean, the one thing that spilled into my personal life was this morning, actually, when, I haven't put on a suit in almost 12 months now. And it took me about 30 minutes to make my tie knot. And it took me about another 30 minutes to find a jacket that still fit. So I guess I put on a little bit of weight during COVID.
I know what you mean, Mauro. I've been wearing sweatpants for so long now that I've started calling regular pants hard pants. So, guys, we're going to wrap this up and jump into our award presentation. But before we do, Larry mentioned in his opening remark his enduring lesson that he has from this past year. Mauro, can you give us what your enduring lesson is?
Yeah, absolutely. For me and for the organization as well, agility compensates for a lot. You have a better chance to survive if you can move quickly.
I think the biggest thing I took out of this is that none of us are in this alone. And it's okay to ask for help. And there's always going to be people there willing to offer it. We work in an amazing industry, and if we continue to work together and build, the only way we can go is up. So I think that was, the biggest lesson I took out of this.
Well, Ashley, having served with you on the Yang Council, I know you're going to do a great job as incoming vice chair, partnered alongside Ryan. Give us your enduring lesson from the last year.
I know that over the years, everybody always says that the only thing consistent in life is change. But this year we learned that the world can literally change overnight. And to be able, as Mauro said, to adapt to that makes us better leaders. And it does allow us to continue on and to get to the next level.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Mauro. Thank you, Ryan. I couldn't be happier to be here on our digital stage with you tonight. So thank you for having me.
Wow, what a great panel discussion. And with that, it is my honor to present our first award, the Pursuit of Excellence. This year's recipient is the Merrill Company. This distribution center is part of a company with 700 associates and continues to pursue a philosophy of putting people first. Here's a little more about the Merrill Company.
They are passionate about the aftermarket and are great representatives of what our industry stands for. They are active in supporting our most important initiatives, Whether you speak to one of their contributors, customers, suppliers, or even their competitors, they all have nothing but positive things to say about this great organization.
The Merrill Company is a shining example of maintaining high standards and achieving success. Its stakeholders in the company are truly dedicated to this pursuit of excellence in all facets of the business, internally and externally.
Their people are a high energy, quality bunch of people that represent the industry well. I'm proud to see AWDA recognize the Merrill Company in its Pursuit of Excellence Award.
The Pursuit of Excellence Award is very special when it's won by an organization. And this year's organization, Arnold Motor Supply and the Merrill Company, is a very special organization. To know them is to know the excellent culture that they've developed, and thus each and every employee there is constantly in the pursuit of excellence. To Dennis Spooner and the entire team at Arnold Motor Supply, congratulations on winning the 2020 Pursuit of Excellence Award.
2020 has been a challenging year, which makes it all the more meaningful to be recognized in the midst of these challenges. It's a testament to Dennis Spooner, who has set a standard of excellence, and to all the people in this organization who come to work every day determined to make a difference for someone else.
It is now my pleasure to present the 2020 AWDA Pursuit of Excellence Award to the Merrill Company. Joining us now to accept the award is Dennis Spooner.
Thank you, Ryan. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Merrill Company and Arnold Motor Supply, I couldn't be more proud to accept this award for our associates. The pursuit of excellence to me means that we strive to be better tomorrow than we were today. What is the one extra little thing that we can do to help our associates, our customers, or our vendor channel partners excel in all that they do? I believe we are all in this industry because we enjoy helping each other. My sincere appreciation to AWDA and the Auto Care Association, who have helped all of us, especially this year, navigate through some very difficult times. The Merrill Company is a proud member of the Aftermarket Auto Parts Alliance, Auto Value, and Bumper to Bumper, whose motto is "Service is the difference, we get it." And with their help and the help of our valued channel partners, we were able to provide excellent webinar training for our customers during the early days of the pandemic. Those efforts have shown the entire supply chain that we're all in this together. I wish we were in person in Las Vegas at the general session, but I want to thank Larry and his team for allowing us to have the cocktail reception at the same time. Cheers, everyone.
It's now my honor to present the Lifetime Achievement Award in honor of Martin Fromm. This very selective award recognizes individuals who have, over the course of a career, distinguished themselves through a high level of performance within the aftermarket. Nominees are considered to be backbones of the industry, individuals who have led great organizations. This year's recipient is Fletcher Lord Jr. Fletcher has been involved in the automotive industry for half a century and is currently the chairman of Replacement Parts, Inc., a company that traces its roots back more than 100 years. I have the privilege of knowing Fletcher, and over the course of his successful career, he has distinguished himself through his integrity, his commitment to the industry, and his achievements. He has dedicated time and resources to serving our industry. Here's a little more about this lifelong leader.
He knows this business from top to bottom. His love for the auto parts business gives him a real passion to want to be in it and constantly improve it.
That he always is giving back to our industry, back to his company, back to his children, back to his family. And to me, that's the sign of what a great leader is and deserving of a lifetime achievement.
All of us who have known Fletcher, and many in the industry who don't know him that well, certainly are aware of his tremendous business acumen. But at a personal level, he's probably even better. He's just a great guy. He's the prototype Southern gentleman. He's reserved, he's down to earth, but he's got a great sense of humor, tells great stories. And And he's very intuitive as well about people, which is part of his leadership skill.
Your leadership within our association may be not so known, as you have never been showy, but always incredibly influential. Your recognition for this award is well deserved and no surprise. It's kind of normal and comforting in this zany year of oh shit, now what?
You were a great competitor, a good friend, and I want to tell you one more time, it wasn't me that was going into your stores and soliciting your people.
When I think of integrity, when I think of the good old aftermarket, I think of Fletcher Lord Jr. He and his company is still an outfit that when you do business with, their handshake and their word is their bond, and you can go to bank on it. That is some lifetime achievement.
It's now my pleasure to present the Lifetime Achievement Award to Fletcher Lord Jr. Congratulations, Fletcher.
Being presented with the Industry Lifetime Achievement Award is an honor I would have never dreamed of when I started this journey over 50 years ago. Like all awards of this nature, the circumstances that preceded me had a great deal to do with me being here today. W.R. Crowe started a business over 100 years ago that he intended to last past his lifetime. My dad, Fletcher Sr., joined the company during the Depression, and when he thought about retiring, he didn't sell the business, but allowed my brother and I to start our careers in a good, well-managed, financially sound company full of great people. My grandfather always said, your company is no better than its people. The industry past for the last 52 years has had many different turns that in lots of ways offered opportunities that benefited our company. The leadership of our company benefited by the nurturing of some of the best people in this industry. People like W.R. Crowe, K.B. Brown, and Bob Rath, and others at every level of the company. These leaders produced the people that Bobby and I have spent our careers with. Folks like Bill Slatter, our CEO, Tom Singleton, our Vice President Store Operations, and Kenny Payne, our Vice President of Sales and Marketing, just to name a few. These people helped to develop an outstanding group that makes up our company today. As our company grew mostly by acquisition, many additional great people joined our company and contributed to our successes. Lastly, if after me there was no one in the ownership to keep it going, we would have gone the way most companies do. But we were lucky enough to have a fourth generation come aboard and take the reins. We have just grown our family by adding 2 additional great companies that would have never happened if we did not have the next generation of leadership coming along. Fletcher III, Ben Butler, Crowe Lord are firmly in the saddle and putting Bobby and me out to pasture. This as it should be. As you can see, a lot of good stuff had to happen for me to be accepting this award today, and it all did. I did not make the train. I just got to be the engineer for a few great years. Again, I want to thank the industry for this recognition and all the people in our company who made it happen.
Our next award is the Art Fisher Award for Excellence in Education. I'm so pleased to be able to present this award to Bobby Bassett in honor of Federated's founder and former AWDA chairman, Art Fisher. Art was a forward thinker, a visionary in the automotive industry, but Art started his career as a teacher, and throughout the years, he never stopped teaching. Art dedicated a vast amount of time to teaching his employees how to be competitive, successful, and how to survive and thrive in the automotive industry. This award is a fitting testament to Art's lifelong love for teaching, and Bobby Bassett is a very deserving recipient. Bobby has been in the automotive aftermarket industry since 1978. He recently retired from Gates, where he was the National Training Manager for North America for more than 20 years. In his role as National Training Manager, he was unsurpassed when it came to excellence in automotive education. He worked closely with technicians, high school and community college automotive programs, and customers. Bobby was the administrator of the Gates Tools for Schools program, along with the Gates Performance Center e-learning platform. Here's a little more about Bobby and his achievements.
He is just an industry icon. He's done a great job of really drawing in all parts of the industry, not only warehouses, jobbers, installers, but also institutions with teachers and students.
He changed our industry, our automotive industry, in the way that we look at belts and accessories and tensioners. Because of Bobby Bassett, our industry now knows proper procedures for servicing belts and accessories and tensioners.
It's difficult to nail down Bobby's best quality because he has many. But to me, it's how much he cares about making sure technicians have the information and the training they need to be successful so that they can fix the vehicle right the first time.
He'll ask a question of a whole group of technicians at a training class. Have you ever heard a belt make noise? And of course, you know, most of the people in the class say, oh yes, of course we have, you know, or yeah, you know, they get it. And then he looks back at him and says, well, you know, that's your fault. Now you want to talk about the guy that's doodling in the back row that was about half asleep. Now all of a sudden he's sitting up straight in his chair and his hair's on fire and he's going, well, what do you mean it's our fault? And Bobby goes on to explain why, you know, you had a belt making noise or whatever, and so you put a belt on it, you put a Band-Aid on it. You didn't find the root cause of the problem. The thing is that the guy that had his hair on fire 5 minutes ago is now settled down, and he's connected with Bobby. He's talking to Bobby. He's finding out why Bobby's saying what Bobby's saying.
The industry will be enjoying the fruits of his labor and the seeds that he has sown for generations to come.
Please join me in recognizing the recipient of AWDA's 2020 Art Fisher Award for Excellence in Education, Bobby Bassett.
Thank you, Sue. I'd like to say it's a very humbling experience to be recognized within one's own industry, especially for this prestigious award of the Art Fisher Excellence in Education Award. Thank you so much. You know, I'm going to put this down, but I began my career in 1978 with the thought it was just a stepping stone to something else, somewhere else within my life. But I found out that I absolutely loved the industry and the people that I was working with. 21 years ago, I had the opportunity to go to work for Gates. And though we could discuss a lot, what I'd like to say is we've come a long way over those years, but my legacy really ends tonight with this award because I actually retired from Gates September 18th. But because of this, I find it so important to share and challenge the industry to step forward. You know, many of the companies offer training for the professional technician, but what about the entry-level student? I found it more important to train them as well, and the reason was it created brand awareness for our company, created an advocate, which was the instructor, as they used the Gates information and tools to teach with. But more so, in the secondary foundation of the whole program was it helped bring awareness to the failure modes in the systems our products operated in, which helped the student understand the failure modes, reducing warranty and labor claims for us in the industry. You know, if you're not sure how to get involved with the entry-level students, please reach out to the University, the Aftermarket Foundation, as they're your primary source for student scholarships. Many states across the country also offer yearly statewide instructor training. Another great source and one of the largest and fastest growing training opportunities for the instructors is the ASC Educational Foundation Summer Training Program held each year. You know, as I wind down, I'd like to thank all my industry friends for everything they've done for me over the years, all the camaraderie as we worked on shows and special projects or training functions, and even the skills competitions. Thank you so much for that. I'd like to thank the Gates management and the Gates sales team, not only in North America, but globally, for believing in our training mission and helping to grow specifically the Tools for Schools program for the instructor. Good luck to the students that receive the scholarships in my name. Please know you are entering a wonderful career that will take you anywhere that you desire. Always continue to search out for that next plateau and never stop learning. Lastly, I'd like to thank my wife, Betty, and our two sons, Seth and Ross, because without their love and support, much of this would not have happened. Thank you again. Stay safe. Have a great meeting, and hopefully we'll meet sometime soon down the road.
Our next award is the AWDA Outstanding Leadership Award in honor of Jack Kramer. This is a unique year for everybody, and we have a unique award. We have two recipients this year, each the head of one of our major trade associations. It's Bill Hanvey, President and CEO of the Auto Care Association, and Paul McCarthy, President and CEO of AASA. I had the honor of serving on the committee that made the selection. And let me give you a little insight to why we selected these two. First, they are leading the fight in one of the most important battles our industry has faced in many years. It's the battle over who controls telematics. And I imagine you'll be hearing a lot about that during the next few days. Well, these folks are leading the fight, and I have to tell you at this point, I think we may even be winning, thanks to their efforts. And the second, I've been in this business quite a while. And during all this time, one of my major criticisms was our trade associations never worked together, often at cross purposes. And aside from all the other problems of duplication, resources, etc., we did not present a united front to the outside world. That was a major handicap. These folks have changed that. They've gotten together. They've got our two associations working together. And that's a major, major accomplishment. That's why they got the award. So now let's learn a little more about these two people.
They both bring different invaluable industry experience that complement one another. They both lead associations that work hard to represent and advance the business interests of their members. With the challenges and opportunities facing the aftermarket, together, for the first time in history of both associations, they have realized that collaboration and speaking with one coordinated voice regarding critical issues facing the aftermarket is essential to the future and long-term well-being of our industry.
Bill and Paul have a special relationship. They leverage that relationship to work together and set the expectation for their staffs to do the same.
To me, they are more than just award winners. I would offer that they are leaders of our times, the leaders we need, and the leaders we're fortunate to have in charge of our associations at this particular critical time in our history.
Bill personally is genuine and confident, and he has a way of figuring out what needs to be done, lining up the people and the resources to get it done, and people come to count on him because they know that he follows through and delivers.
Navigating every challenge, be it the cancellation of Apex or the fight for vehicle data access, guiding the industry to safer harbors.
Paul is so deserving of this award. The success of our industry is vitally important to him, and he works tirelessly to advance our position. In nearly every conversation I have with him, he stresses the importance of collaboration across the industry, and he walks that talk, and so I find it so fitting that he shares this award.
It is now my pleasure to present the 2020 AWDA Leadership Award to Bill Hanvey and Paul McCarthy.
Larry, thank you so much. And I've had quite a while to prepare for this, but I didn't write anything down because I wanted my sentiments to come from the heart. And the one thing that really occurs to me in being honored with Paul tonight is that really AWDA stands for family. And in my career, I started calling on those family-owned parts stores in upstate New York. And that foundation of family has carried me throughout my career, and our industry is really quite a family. And I want to thank all of you for making me part of your family. I want to thank my family for moving 6 times, for the games that I missed and the nights that I wasn't there, but you supported me in my dreams and often putting yours on the back burner. So Chris, Katie, and Liam, thank you for sharing in this success. It's been a tough year that I'm sure everyone can attest to, and admittedly so. There have been times where I've asked myself, why me? Why at this time? And I guess that at the onset of the pandemic, I really made a vow to myself to do the right thing by the membership, and that the membership would take care of us. And you certainly have, and tonight is just one piece of evidence of that. And I'm just so humbled to accept this award with Paul tonight. But I also want to acknowledge those frontline essential workers that go to work every single day behind the counter, those men and women that ensure the freedom of our mobility as a country. And I want to acknowledge all those men and women and thank them for being true leaders. So thanks to all of you. Obviously, it would have been so great to do this in person. I miss all of you tremendously. And just the camaraderie and the family to be part of is just acknowledgement enough on my part to say thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Larry saw it. I was truly floored by this. And I can't tell you how much it means and how honored that I and the whole team who does the hard work back at the Suppliers Association, how we felt about this. When I look at the names of the folks who won this award in the past, these are some of my heroes in the industry. Folks that I've looked up to, that I've aspired to be like, some of my mentors. So I am truly humbled and honored. And I want to thank AWDA, Larry Sills, and the past award winners. But I know that this award was given to represent something larger than me. This is about us fighting for our industry, fighting for our future. And to win this award together with my good friend, Bill Hanby, that means so much to me. It really is the icing on the cake. Because where we can make a difference, where it makes sense, we need to come together to give our industry a strong voice so that we can win the fights we need to win. So we can defend and protect our industry, protect our customers' rights and our values, like a free market. That's what we're fighting for when it comes to consumer choice on where and with what parts their vehicles are serviced. And in other areas, like our industry being essential, we are advocating for our future. So Bill, thank you so much for the partnership. I think the industry is sending a message, but they want us to keep this going. And together, we need to thank the chairs and presidents group at ASA and AutoCare that make this cooperation possible. So a special thanks to Bill Long, Mark Feinstone, Mark Blackman, Enrico Manuele, and Brad Kraft. This award really belongs to you. Together, giving the aftermarket the strong voice that it needs. So AWDA, the suppliers, thank you. And I'm just excited. I mean, Bill, it's been great working with you. We've known each other for a long time, but working together the last couple of years to collaborate more, to make a difference, to take this to another level. It's really been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, Paul. And it's and I'll never forget on my interview with AASA coming in and seeing your desk and thinking, wow, a genius must live here because of the condition of your desk. And
yeah, behind all the papers.
but the collaboration, like you said, Paul, it started a long time ago, and we worked together for the industry, and that has never changed. That has never wavered. And if anything, I think that I'm hoping that the members see our joint commitment to the industry and realizing how important it is that we do work together and that we do collaborate, and collectively we are stronger, together. And I think that that's been so evident throughout the course of this year, whether it be, from the negotiations on Apex and trade and, how we handled the pandemic. We've been in lockstep together. And, I do want to thank Bill Long too. And you acknowledged Bill during your presentation, but Bill brought us together. And he introduced me into this crazy association business. And I want to acknowledge that and thank him for all that he's done. But it's been truly a pleasure building upon our relationship, Paul, and more good things to come for all our members, I would hope.
Yeah, very well said, Bill. And, it is amazing just that list that you had of all the things we've been working together on. There's also data. There's this federal bill we're working on together for consumer choice, the government model for when we do get access to data. I mean, it's an impressive list. And you said it right. It's all about what's best for the industry. And, you also said it. This is just a start. We have a lot to do to advocate for the industry. And this collaboration is going to be even more important as we look to this recovery, as we look to the future. So thank you, partner.
Yep, and thank you, partner. It's been great, and more good things to come, everybody.
Congratulations again to all of our 2020 award winners. We all realize that it's just not the same without the actual applause and the personal congratulations, but we promise to make it up to you in 2021. Thank you again to our distinguished panel, to Ashley Arnold, to Ryan Samuels, and to our great chairman, Mauro Cifelli. Merci, mon bon ami, Monsieur Cifelli. And a big thanks to Dave Shapiro for his help with this program. And I'd be remiss in not extending our organization's heartfelt condolences to Dave and his family for the loss of our friend and his dad this past May. Rest in peace, Jim. Thanks to our wonderful sponsors on the Manufacturer Rep Council. You all are absolutely solid, and we really appreciate your support. And for most of you, a couple of announcements. The one-on-one meetings will begin tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Although a few of you have set up earlier meetings, good for you. This is all about the networking. Look for an email in your inbox the next 4 mornings. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll have announcements and instructions for the day. And now, since we can't do it this year as we usually do and listen to the clinking of the cocktail glasses, go pour yourself a favorite beverage and toast this great, wonderful, essential industry. Have a great afternoon and evening, everyone, and a great few days of one-on-one meetings. Thanks very much.
Actually, before we go, we have one more honor to present.
Hello, my name is Mauro Cifelli, and I am the President and CEO of Vast Auto Distribution and the current Chairman of the AWDA Board of Directors. As everyone knows, the COVID situation is unprecedented, and there really is no how-to manual that outlines these steps and actions to take in such challenging times. What struck me the most is how AWDA, through Larry Northup's leadership, brought us together as an industry from all over North America to facilitate the development of ideas, the sharing of experiences, and even at times the solving of problems. As the current chairman of AWDA, I've had the opportunity to work closely with Larry over the last 2 years, and it's no surprise to me that during these very difficult times, he stepped up and committed to a team approach to protecting and looking after the interests of the members of our AWDA community. If you ask Larry, he'll tell you he was just doing his job, but he did go over and above. On behalf of the entire team here at Vast Auto, we want to thank you
for your dedication, and for your leadership. It is a true pleasure working with you.
You talk about industry awards. If there was one for trade association experts, it'd go to Larry Northrup. This guy came with AWDA and the Auto Care Association about 20 years ago, knowing nothing about the aftermarket, and he's developed with the same passion and determination that the rest of us have. He's a tremendous aftermarket leader and takes care of us in each and every way. He's always got our back, and Larry, we got your back. You're the greatest in the nation, and we're so glad that you lead us in the independent aftermarket. Thank you, and congratulations from all of us.
Larry, just a quick minute to let you know how much you're appreciated by the AWDA membership and myself. Your dedication towards AWDA and our organization has been unwavering. You are a great asset to me when I went through the chairs and during my chairmanship, and I know you are a tremendous mentor to the younger members of the board. You encourage involvement and action. We are very fortunate to have you as a leader of AWDA and an auto care advocate. I'm proud to call you my friend, and congratulations.
Larry, I know you don't want an award, but you're gonna have to sit there and listen to us say good things about you anyways. So I'd like to thank you on behalf of the industry. I'd like to thank you personally. I'd like to say that behind the scenes at AWDA, the Manufacturers Advisory Council, you're the one constant that makes any of the leadership that goes through the chairs look smarter, more organized than we ever could be on our own. And you deserve a lot of credit. So Larry, take some time, enjoy the accolades, and thanks for what you do.
Hey Larry, congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Your passion and dedication to AWDA and our industry have been invaluable. You're a true professional. Congratulations.
An aftermarket champion, that's Larry Northrup. Passionate and dedicated about his family, about his country, about the automotive aftermarket, and his friends.
Hey Larry, happy 20th work anniversary at Auto Care and your work supporting the industry and the AWDA community. Over the past couple of years, I've had the pleasure of working with you on the AWDA board. The industry and Auto Care is very fortunate to have someone like you who cares about this segment of the industry. I can't think of anyone better to represent the AWDA community.
Hey Larry, I would like to personally thank you for all what you have done for the industry, and particularly for me. I remember the first time that we met, I was all scared. I didn't know anyone in the room, and you approached me. You gave me that confidence that I needed at the time, so I'm very thankful for that, Larry. There's a lot of things that I have accomplished, and there's a lot of things that still haven't accomplished but want to accomplish, and everything it's because of people like you that make us, the young people, stronger and confident on ourselves. So thank you for that, Larry. I really appreciate it, and enjoy the moment.
I think the first thing that you notice about Larry is his incredibly infectious smile and his laughter. He works around a table full of some pretty type A personalities, and he never manages to lose his lightheartedness, his smile, or his little chuckle as he's listening to the conversations around the room. He truly cares about each one of us, both on a business and on a personal level, and pours his heart into AWDA every single day. In that room, we truly are a family, and he's such a huge part of the fabric of what makes us who we are. Larry, thank you for all you do from us from the bottom of our hearts. We truly appreciate you, and I don't know what we would do without you.
Larry, thank you for your leadership this year on the AWDA Board of Governors. You brought us all together when times got tough and gave us real solutions. Without you leading this board, we'd be in trouble. I appreciate everything.
Hello, Larry. Greetings from sunny Spencer, Iowa. Just want to take a moment to give a big shout out and a thank you for all that you do for us, for the Auto Care Association, for AWDA, for this entire industry. I'm not sure we'd be where we are without you. So thank you very much, Larry. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Stay safe.
Larry,
thank you for your hard work and dedication to our industry. Being a new member of the AWDA board, I haven't got to spend a lot of time with you yet. COVID has changed the way we all do business, and especially industry events. You have done a tremendous job guiding us during these challenging times. Thank you for a job well done. Cheers.
Hi, Larry. On behalf of the Automotive Distribution Network, its staff, and its members, I want to thank you for the outstanding job you do leading AWDA. Keep up the great work.
Hi Larry, this is John Bender, and I just wanted to say thank you for all your leadership with the Auto Care Association and our industry. You have been a tremendous advocate and supporter of the manufacturer rep community. And on behalf of my colleagues here at N.A. Williams and all of the manufacturer rep community, I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations.
Hey Larry, it doesn't seem like 16 years we've been working together. I was that incoming AWDA chairman and you were that brand new rookie liaison. It's been quite a ride, my friend. Thank you for all you do.
I'd just like to say I'm super happy to be a part of this tribute to Larry. The fact that we had to do it in secret, because if he knew it was happening, he probably would have never allowed it to happen. Larry always says that he's so lucky to be able to work with the best segment in auto care, and I think it's really the other way around. We're the best segment because we're lucky enough to work with Larry. Larry's just a pro's pro. He cares about AWDA. He cares about all of us, and like I said, we're just extremely lucky to have him. Really looking forward to working with him for the next 2 years, and congrats, Larry. Well deserved.
Hey Larry, on behalf of the entire APH team, I want to express our gratitude and appreciation for everything you do to support us and to support AWDA. We could not be more proud to have you on our team. Thank you.
Larry, thank you so much for what you do. You are leading the charge on the continued success of the aftermarket and its WDs. I am so grateful for your knowledge, positive attitude, and the drive you have when it comes to advocating for our entire industry. Keep it up, and thank you so much.
Larry, on behalf of Auto Plus, AWDA, and quite frankly, the entire industry, wanted to thank you for your leadership during this crazy year of 2020. Your ability to bring us together, to collaborate, to really talk to each other, to come out of this pandemic stronger and more united has been remarkable, and couldn't have done it without your leadership. Thank you so much.
I would be hard-pressed to think of an individual that deserves this honor more than Larry Northrop. Larry, your contributions to the Auto Care Association and AWDA have had a major impact on our businesses and our industry. On behalf of Pronto, the group, and all of our members, thank you for everything you do to make our industry better, and congratulations on this award.
Thanks for watching this evening's ceremony. Enjoy the rest of the conference and your evening.